Story time. I should have been a comedian, I swear. Sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I was. It's great to learn all of this, and it can be overwhelming, right? Because everybody has a beginning. Or like Kennedy was saying, we're at different points of our life, right? Some people want to buy real estate. Some people want to invest in their businesses. Some people just want to create a budget, okay? And I get it. Like, I remember a time when I went to a seminar and I learned how to create a budget. And I went home and they said, track everything. So I tracked everything. I would write everything I spent on a piece of paper. And I was a single mom, and I was really active. My boys were playing football and soccer, and they were all over the place. And, sometimes Tim Hortons drive-through was just really easy, right? And at the end of the month, I calculated my budget, and I realized that I was spending $1,500 a month eating out. And I was like, wow. I had to stop and look at myself and be like, okay, what is it? What is it that I'm doing wrong here in my life? And then I stopped. I was like, forget it. I'm not eating out. I'm not doing the pendulum really swung the other way, because I was like, I am not spending money and I'm not wasting money. I needed to pay off my credit cards that were all racked up. I had to stop shopping. Shopping was a big thing. And it just really gave me an understanding of my relationship with money. So that's a little bit of my story. So with this little budget here that you have, this is honestly probably the most amazing thing that anybody could do or give somebody as a gift, to figure out your stuff. And I'm not saying that you haven't figured out your stuff, but it's nice to figure out your stuff because it brings empowerment. So, are we here to expand a bit? Are we all okay to stand up? Because we're going to do an affirmation. I like connecting your mind with your heart. Okay? So this is how it's going to look. We're all going to stand up. We're going to put our hand on our heart, and we're going to say, I deserve to shine. We're going to do it 3 times. And then at the end of it, we're going to say, rise and shine. I know it might be a little bit cheesy, but we're all cheesy, okay? Really at the end of the day, we really are all cheesy, okay? And it's okay to be cheesy. It's okay to be nerdy. It's okay to expand. Who cares? Because really at the end of the day, it's about connecting your head and your heart, okay? So we're going to say it 3 times. I want it to I really want to hear it. I want to feel it, because it's about energy. And I believe that when you feel like you deserve something, it comes to you, okay? So again, I'm going to recap. We're going to say it 3 times, okay? So we're going to say, I deserve to shine, okay? We're going to say it 3 times, and at the end, we're all together going to say rise and shine. Got it? Everybody got it? We're ready to expand? And we're going to say it loud, okay? Say it loud. Mind, heart. Let's go. I deserve to shine. I deserve to shine. I deserve to shine. Rise and shine. Did we feel it? Do you feel it? Yeah? Okay, let's do it one more time, because you know what? Sometimes we just need to be really, really cheesy. Okay. I deserve to shine. I deserve to shine. I deserve to shine. Rise and shine. Woo! Thank you for being cheesy with me. You know, I think when you're at home and you wake up in the morning, for me, when I wake up in the morning, I get up and I give my gratitudes all the time. First of all, I believe in God. Some people don't believe in God. They believe in Allah, Buddha, whoever you want to believe in, you do you. But when I wake up in the morning, I say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. And I put my feet on the floor. And then I'm like, thank you, God. And then I go to the washroom and I start my day. But for me, it's all about, I do believe that I deserve. Right? We all deserve this. We deserve to do this for us, you know? And thank you, Kennedy, for... I'm so blessed and honored to have met you, and I'm so grateful that we get to share this. Because, like I said, I haven't spoken in years. I haven't taken the mic. I kind of walked away from it. Now I'm like, oh man, this is a great feeling. I like it. Thank you so much. So now, are we going to do the panelists? Okay, awesome. Nelson, and your wife? Are you going to come up here? Yeah? So, thank you so much. And it's Selena. Thank you, Selena. Nelson, thank you. Awesome. Okay, so are you going to ask the questions? Am I asking questions? What are we doing? You do it because you're leading this event. I'll let you do it.
I'll also invite Mrs. Dr. Real. I met Dr. Real at the last Rise and Shine conference. She's an amazing lady. I didn't have her thing on the board, but she's going to tell us a little bit about what she's doing, the great things she's been doing. She has an event coming up in August, is that correct? And yeah, it's the mindset. It's all about raising people to become the best potentials ever. There is greatness in you. There is greatness sitting in you and waiting to come out. Sometimes you have desires. I was just having a conversation with my friend. Every desire that comes to you is greatness trying to come out to the surface. Sometimes you have it, and those little voices come to you and they tell you, oh, you cannot do this, you know, this is a strange country, this is this. And maybe sometimes the people around you are not helping because you share with somebody and the best thing they do is discourage you. That's why I want a community that is neutral, that is not a community of Cameroonians, it's not a community of Igbo people, it's not a community of Africans, it's not a community that doesn't have those boundaries so that we can share equally and evenly. So with this, I'm going to start with Nelson. Nelson is my great friend. Nelson is one of those guys that is doing something that many people don't think is possible. Nelson has a business that is present and has shops in 3 malls in Calgary. Right? And I've seen him grow from one shop at Marlborough Mall to Sunridge Mall to Cross Iron Mills Mall. I remember at one point going with a bottle of champagne and we popped it up at Marlborough. Right? So I like to see people doing this. Sometimes I invite him for coffee and something because I learn from his own perspective and the way he does things. That's why I thought it would be good for him to come here and be on the stage so that after this you can meet him and have a chat with him. Become friends. He's always with his wife. They're together. I invited him for this thing, but I realized it was impossible to separate them. I went on his social media, I needed a picture to do a card for him, and I could not find one single picture of him by himself, and they are not together. And that's why when Margarita said to him, I'm like, yeah, let them go there. She might just have to sit, but they have to be together. So, Nelson, you've come to this country, you are, and he's in a business that is very unique. See, we are all creators. Sometimes you think you have to follow what somebody else is doing. No, when you have ideas, they're usually unique ideas that God sends to you. You just have to be able to do something your own way because that uniqueness is your greatness. Nelson is in a business that is not very common. I remember seeing some things for the first time and I was a little sensitive, but then I realized that that is creativity. That's how we grow from what we know to what we don't know, out of your comfort zone. So I'm going to let him tell us a little bit about some of the challenges he's had and how he managed to go through all that to run 3 stores in 3 different malls in Calgary. I mean, it should be challenging. We all know that. But he's doing it. And I'm sure he's probably planning on opening a 4th at another mall. I usually dream of a community where we can come together like this, because this Rise and Shine thing is not just this. The platform I'm building is a robust platform where at some point we're going to have a one-stop shop, everything finances. Which means that if you learn finances and start managing your budget and know how to do these things, now you have money. How do you invest that money? If in that room you have a mortgage broker that can give you ideas, you have a financial specialist, you have somebody who's doing a business, I want that platform to be a platform where we can have real estate on one side, maybe stocks on the other side. I don't invest in stocks. You know why? Because I know nothing about it. But if somebody could teach me and I see how to do it, I could be benefiting from an opportunity that I'm not using. So you could have cryptocurrency, real estate, stocks, whatever. But it's everything finances and mindset. So Nelson, can you tell us a little bit, what's your secret sauce? How do you go across all the struggles to do what you're doing? Because you're really doing amazing. And your wife can help.
Good evening, everyone. I see a lot of familiar faces. And for those who don't know me, my name is Nelson Ajua. I am from Cameroon. I came here 2010. And it's been a roller coaster, just like many of us here are going to kind of relate with that. The first question I wanted to ask is, how many of us in this hall want to be financially free? I'm not seeing all the hands. People are saying that you have to raise your hands with confidence, because this is the reason why we are here, right? There is a reason why you left the house, left every other thing that you wanted to do to get here. And sometimes we think in life that we want to make it, we want to get there. But the first thing that I realized personally is knowledge is power, and knowledge is key, right? If you can't move from A to B without having a knowledge of how to navigate yourself from here to where you're going. You know, when I get into a car sometimes, I put on my GPS. I'm like, the guy who created or designed this thing did a really fantastic job, because it helps us navigate from one point to another. Life doesn't offer us any GPS, so we have to create our own GPS on how to navigate in life. And you cannot create that GPS without the right knowledge, without the right mindset. So I want to thank Ken very much for putting us in this environment where we'll be able to tap into some of this very, very important information that he is sharing with us. Trust me, every one of us seated here has a God-given talent. There are so many of us here that at one point or another in our lives, we've wanted to take a step, we've wanted to take a leap of faith to do something, and something has pulled us back. You know, listening to Ken and listening to all the knowledge that we've shared, I was telling Joseph sitting next to me, I was telling him that the biggest thing that I think holds people back, and it held me back for many years, was taking that first step. You know, we can listen to this all day. Ken can reorganize this. Next week we'll come here. But if you don't push yourself to start, to do something, we can never be able to make that move. He's giving us the platform and the information to get that knowledge, to create our GPS. But we have to start the car. We have to move. And once you move, then you start to navigate yourself and move yourself from one point to another. So thank you very much, Ken. And come to the question, starting a business has been very, very challenging for us, I have to say, because when you get into something that you're not really educated with, and that's one of the things I'm saying, knowledge is really, really important. The inception of the business that we are into, it's a beauty supply business, and we principally focus with hair extensions, beauty stuff, not just for ladies, but also just recently we started focusing on men because we see the need. The concept came up from my wife, and when she brought up the idea, I was like, have you done business before? You know, just the same way you would normally ask. And she said, no. So why do you want to do this, and why do you think we should? You know, and she said she believes that there is need for this, and she believes that if we do this and with the right passion, we can make it. So I took it upon myself, and she took it upon herself to do a lot of research. We did a lot of groundwork trying to find out what to do. There is nobody to mentor you. There is information out there. Google gives you a lot of information, but not everything is right, and not everything works for your own particular scenario. So sometimes you have to look through and filter what is best for you. So we did a lot of research, and we started off very, very, very small. A lot of people here knew our story. Regina can resonate with that. You know, a lot of people knew how we started. It was very, very small. And I told Jimmy, he was sitting right back behind me here, I was telling him, I am so happy that we started small because we made some mistakes, but those were small mistakes. Small mistakes that you can correct easily. Imagine starting off big, take a big loan, start off something big, and you did something wrong. You won't be able to correct it. So take that leap of faith. Do not be afraid to start something small. You could start something that you have an inception, an idea. You could start it in the basement. You could start it in a house. It could be a side hustle. But trust me, a lot of people have been able to replace their full jobs with their side hustles. But it takes that first step. So we went through our own journey. We went through a lot of difficulties and challenges. But we stood to the basic principles that hard work, determination, and the right knowledge will what will be able to move you forward. And we have been able to move from where we were, from the kiosk to a store, and then we opened a couple of other stores. So thanks not just to me, but also my boss who's sitting next to me here for the hard work. And I feel really honored to be sitting in front of you guys here to share our story and our knowledge. But my presence here, I feel, is just to encourage each and every one of you who is sitting here as well. That little thing that you have in you all the time that pushes you to do something, do not kill it. Right? Do not kill that fire. And if you need someone to talk to more to develop an idea, I'm here. I can be able to help out. I can be able to have a communication. We can sit for coffee and talk and fix something up. Thank you.
Thank you, Nelson. And that's why when we're done, you can hang around. Yeah, they have a very creative business. I love it. And I've had time to visit him at his shop, and sometimes he would tell me the difficulties they go through at the mall. Like this store is not available, they have to move stuff and things like that. So I wanted you to have real life experience from people who are doing this thing. The message we take from here is that start small and be ready to make mistakes. You don't have to have everything figured out. I started my business small. I tell people I started my business with a phone and a computer, and they wouldn't believe me. I would go to work, have my business phone here on my cell phone, and I was working in a seniors facility, and my phone is vibrating, and I'm like, oh shoot, that could be my first client. And I cannot wait to finish that task and go to the bathroom and answer the call. And I answered clients' calls in the bathroom. I did not care about the echoing of the noise. And I did that until I got the first client, I got the second, I got the third. And it's all about making mistakes. When you have a mindset of making mistakes and then learning from them, you grow easily. And sometimes we hold ourselves because we think that if we do it, it's going to fail, what's going to happen. When you do it, in most cases, if you fail, you're simply back to where you were before. So what did you lose? Nothing. But now you gain the experience. And even if you have to do it again, you know how to do it again. So that's what we get from him. Now we'll go to Dr. Rio. I met her at the last Rise and Shine conference. I'd never met her before. She saw my ad online and somehow she resonated with what I was saying. She has a movement too. Interestingly, it's very similar to what I'm doing because I'm Rise and Shine and she's doing Rise to Greater Heights. You can see the similarity. And somehow even the logo and the colors we use are almost the same. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, we'll work on something. I invited her today. When she met me at the last Rise and Shine conference, at the end of the conference, she offered me a book. And after that, I read the book and I saw stuff, and now we are friends. When you get out of your comfort zone, see, most people limit themselves because they have a cycle that is very identical, especially in Canada where we don't have a lot of social interactions. The people they know are mostly people from their community. And apart from that, the next group is people they went to school with, because when you come here, sometimes you go to school, you meet people from other countries and you build friendship and you keep those friendships after. Another group is your colleagues at work, because you see each other every day, you finally become friends and you play and then you talk. If you limit yourself to those three groups, you will hardly go out of your mind and learn new things, because all the information you constantly get reinforces what you already know. So it's important to sometimes get out and sit in such a community where you meet people that are not your colleagues, not people from your background, and not the people you went to school with. And that's when you can get new ideas and end up pushing yourself out. So I'm going to give the microphone to Dr. Real now to tell us, firstly, the multitude of things she's doing, what inspired her to get there, and how she goes across some of the hurdles and the struggles we go through. Dr. Real?
Thank you. I think I'll just follow your footsteps. I'm going to stand. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kennedy, for the opportunity to be here to bless the stage with my experience on what I went through. And it's so funny that last year I was just amongst the audience, and then today I'm right here. So, of which means everything is possible in life. As long as you don't shift from that mindset, everything is possible. So, just a little bit about me professionally, I am a human rights policy analyst. So what I do, I consult on human rights related policies and compliance. But apart from the profession, because at the end of the day, you have to follow your passion. So really, if you had to ask me, what do you really do? It has to depend with the person who is asking me what I'm doing. I'll tell you, I am a life and business coach. I am a podcast host. I am an award-winning author of 10 books. So it really depends who is asking the question. But at the end of the day, you'll have to impact lives. If you follow your passion, you'll have to impact as many lives as you can. So I decided to follow my passion back 6 years ago. I remember myself 6 years ago, I was kind of lost, completely lost in the hustle. I was exhausted. I was overwhelmed. I remember I had so much ideas, but there was no tried and true strategy to run with my ideas. So it was when I invested in coaching. And that was when I built my income generating business, just doing what I truly love, what I'm passionate about, and making a real impact out there, impacting as many lives as I can through my life and business coaching. I am also a podcast host that runs every Friday at 9 a.m. It's Rise to Greater Heights. You can search it on YouTube at your convenience. But we are here today. We are here to share how really I overcame my challenges. Really, it was only following my passion. If I had to ask you, do we have any aspiring authors in the house, or authors? Aspiring author? Do we have life and business coaches? Do we have any diplomats? I love that. Do we have any diplomats in the house? Speakers? Aspiring speakers? You see, we have a room full of many ideas that can become a reality. Of which means, because I know, sometimes in life we go complaining about everything in life, like really everything. Oh, the weather is really bad today. Traffic was worse than expected. My family drives me crazy sometimes. You name it. Though complaining can be a way to build an inspiration, it can also keep us from acting. And it usually gives us it gives the excuses enough time to procrastinate from achieving your goals. And one thing I've realized is that we usually focus on the problem than finding the solution. So the reason why we're here today, we'll have to kind of assess our goals' progress. What's holding you back? Like with me, I had to sit down and assess my goals' progress. What's holding me back from even taking the baby step in the right direction? What's holding me back? Is it fear? Is it procrastination? Is it distraction? Is it searching for that mediocre life? What was holding me back? So I had to sit down and jot everything. I remember that was when I wrote my first book. So I was just talking to myself with my first book. After assessing my goals' progress, then I had to set a plan, like, now I'll have to chase after success. I'll have to grow my business. I have to overcome business obstacles. That's how I ended up like laying the foundation to be where I am today. But above everything else, like I've promised to Kennedy that I'm going to share the 10 secrets that I've actually used to build an income generating business, just doing what I truly love today. So like Nelson, right? Nelson mentioned that you'll have to dream big, but start small. I had that big dream, like I just wanted to be this, I wanted to be that, but I dreamt big, but I started small, taking the right baby steps in the right direction, because at the early stages of your business, you are still in the learning stage, so you'll have to kind of, test the waters if whatsoever you're going to be doing, it's going to be scalable. So that's what I decided to go about. And then the second step that I took was to write about my interest. I started writing books. If Bernard, can you please pass me those books? I started writing books. The one was Rise to Greater Heights, like I've mentioned. I had to detail everything that I just wanted to do in life through my first book, Rise to Greater Heights. So with this book, really, I was really encouraging myself. When you speak of increasing your emotional intelligence, I was here. I was like, in order for me, to work effectively with my team, I'll have to put my shoes in their shoes so that I can understand how it feels like leading a team. So I wrote all those ideas. So like I've mentioned that I am a human rights policy analyst. What happened during the incident of George Floyd, the whole incident of George Floyd, I felt like we just need to stand for a world where no one shall live in fear because of the color of their skin, and where the criminal justice system treats everyone fairly and equally. That was when I decided to pour into this book, Human Rights, which are just God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. So after writing about all of my interests, you can actually become an expert speaker. I promise you can do that. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. And you really don't have to be great to get started, but you'll have to get started at some point in life to become great. As my mentor always say that you don't have to see the whole staircase in life to get to the top, but all you need to do is to take the first baby step to get to the top. So get started today. Whatsoever idea that you have in your mind, just get started on it. Don't wait to accumulate like thousands, millions of dollars, and then you're gonna start that business. Like Kennedy mentioned, that you really don't need a capital to start a business. You start with that idea, and then you turn it into a reality. And another thing that you can actually turn your passion into profit, or that side hustle that you have into profit, really, you'll have to be an expert in that field. So if you are interested in investing in coaching or investing to become a consultant, get that training and start developing yourself, because truly speaking, you can't give from an empty cup. You'll have to fill your cup first, and then from the overflow, that's when you'll be able to share with the world what you have inside of you. Don't just do it the opposite, that you're gonna start showing up for other people, but inside of you, you know for sure that you are completely empty. So fill your cup first. another best way that can help you really, that helped me. I'm sharing everything that helped me to be who I am. I built a community. I created a product. I created courses online. What we do with Canada really it is complementing each other. It's complementing each other. Whenever, like I believe that we all rise together and we rise to greater heights by lifting each other up than to tear anyone down or to step on another person to get to the top. So it's all about complementing each other. We have a community, a Rise and Shine University. It's right here to build us up. So we come together as a community, we build each other up. Or you can create that product and then guess what? You go on YouTube, you start posting, you create videos of whatsoever you are selling. And you will never know that in the long run, YouTube will start, you can start monetizing whatsoever you are posting on YouTube, and YouTube will eventually pay you for whatsoever you are doing. So you see, you dream big, but you start small. And another thing that has helped me to be who I am today is a group like this, networking. Like right now, I don't know how many business cards I got from this place. It's all about networking. The power of networking is the new currency. You may never know that the person who is sitting next to you maybe is a CEO of that business, but you haven't even said hi and just introduce yourself to that person. So network. Before we even leave here, our host is really encouraging us to do just that, networking. And also, if you are confident enough, you can also host an event. It can be a small event, like you can start small, but at the end of the day, the initial idea is just to grow big. Host an event around whatsoever interest you are really interested in sharing with the world, and then you can grow from there. I hope this helps. I hope you've been taking notes. I hope in the next Rise and Shine soon we're going to hear testimonies about this. Thank you so much, Kennedy.